Om Sahna Bhavatu Sahnau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Dashmo Adhyayah. Shri Bhagavanuvacha. Sarganam Sarganam Adiantascha Madhyam Chaivaham Arjuna Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam Vadah Pravadatamaham Aksharanam Akarosmi Dvanda Samasikasya Cha Ahamevakshakalaha Dhatam Vishwato Mukha Mrityu sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtir shrivak narinam smritir medha dhrati kshama. All right, let's do three first, then we'll see if we can do one more. So again, the topic is same. We are talking about the different vibhutis of Bhagwan. And in that, we have, covered a lot of things which are inanimate, animate, all the wise people, even, some of the, all different things are there. Now, Bhagwan says, Sarganam Adi Antascha. Sarg is creation. In Bhagavatam, the first canto is Sarga. Sarga, Visarga, that's how it continues. So, Sarg means creation. How did this creation come about? So, Bhagavan says, I am the beginning. Adi means the beginning, and I am the Antascha. I am the end. End means when it dissolves, only I remain. So the beginning is me, end is me, and Madhyam Chaiva Aham Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, I am also the middle. So it's not like I created it and then I'll come at the end of it. Like, sometime in India, they have these tent walas, they will come, set up the tent. So in Adi, they were there and then they go away. So the caterers come, do everything, all the party goes on. At the end of it, they come and they wrap it up and take it. He says, no, it's not just the beginning and end. Everything in the middle is also me. So, Madhya Chaiva, I am the middle also. So everything that you see in between, from the time the Srishti was created to the time it got dissolved, and in between is me. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. Among all the knowledge, different knowledges are there. So among all knowledge, I am Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma Vidya is Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, self-knowledge, whatever way we want to understand it. And Vada Pravadatam Aham. Vada, it is a discussion, So when we talk about Pravadatam Aham, it means the method of communicating with each other, So I'll explain that. But this is the summary of this particular verse. So earlier, Bhagwan had said that I am the Adi, Ant and Madhya of the Bhutanam. So all the creatures, I am the beginning, I am the middle, and I am the end. So that is, that's Bhagwan. But in this case, Bhagwan is saying, not just the creatures, I am the creation itself. So creatures is part of it also. So So when Bhagwan says that, then it is like more impactful. And not just one creation, creations. So Bhagwan has, done many. So, and among all Vidyas, knowledge, I am the spiritual knowledge. I am the Adhyatma Vidya, the knowledge of self. So, so here Bhagwan is talking about, Brahma Vidya is the only real Vidya. Everything else is relative Vidya, which is, not uh, giving less importance to those. But, this reminds me of that story of Naraji, when he went to his brothers, he wanted to know. He just said, teach me. He says, what do you want to know? He said, that which will remove all my dukkha, you know, shoka tarakam. So that's which will take me beyond my sorrows. So which Vidya is that? Then they taught him Adhyatma Vidya, or the subject matter. Subject matter is self. Self means I, you know, simple translation from English. So among knowledge, I am the self-knowledge. So Ramana also says, in one of his verses, I don't remember that, but he says, without knowing the knower, can you really say any knowledge is real? You know, if you don't even know who the knower is, every other knowledge is just superficial. That's, Ramana Bhagwan's point of view. So, without knowing who am I, any knowledge is just objective information about Srishti or whatever topic it is. So it's like, when suppose a mad person comes, or somebody who has had like 4 or 5, strong ones, and we say, what, they are not in their senses, so whatever they say, just ignore it. That's, so the people who are realized people, so they look at us like that, these guys are totally intoxicated with the world, so whatever they say, don't pay too much uh, attention to that. Anyways, because it is not an absolute knowledge, it's all relative information. See, earlier time when Newtonian physics was there, then all the macro stuff was understood, and we said, okay, you know what, this is our experience, everything falls down, everything, that way we understood. But then we came to the microscopic level understanding, how do these uh, subatomic particles work, like electrons, and what is their nature. Then we realize they don't follow the rules of the macrocosm. They have their own rules, And one thing that made that uh, really important is because up to the Newtonian time, the classical physics, classical chemistry, all that, there was no concept of observer. Everything was just observed, and that observed had a certain pattern that it followed. There were certain rules. So they said all the objects of the world are following a certain rule, and it is all deterministic, that we can find out what they will, how they will behave, till, people like Schrodinger or Niels Bohr or other, scientists came up with the quantum physics, and they said, no, the observer is actually in the center of the way these particles behave. Sometimes they behave as waves, sometimes they behave as particles. So it is not, Anyway, I don't want to go into that because my knowledge is also very limited. But if you go through like some of the quantum physics experiment, like there is one where um, it is called the double slit experiment, where they have an obstruction with two slits and they bombard electrons onto that, and then they have a pattern in the back of the thing. How do the what comes out of those two slits? It's the same one gun, single pointed, which is being uh, throwing these electrons. So point is that they realized, because they kept a camera first in front of the slit and then behind the slit or towards that final screen where the impressions were being captured. So they said as long as somebody was observing, um, it behaved differently. If nobody was observing, the pattern was different. So point was that the observer has a big role to play in this uh, at the quantum level. So I don't want to bore you in that, but point is, same way, the world is just a play here. We are making sense of it because of we create the me and minus in that. ये मेरा है, वो तेरा है, we have created that division. So mind does that. Mind has that uh, power to do it. So um, because if you think about it, all knowledge is dependent on intellect, right? Intellect says this is right. Which we call nishchayatmak. This is a book, this is a computer, this is my wife, this is my kids, these are my parents. All that knowledge, that or worldly knowledge about different sciences. So we need intellect for that. Intellect is the center of our capturing knowledge. But how does the intellect come to know about all these things? There must be something which is powering that intellect to become that knowledgeable, right? So that knowledge, or that um, thing which is consciousness, which allows the intellect to do its job, is beyond the capacity of the intellect to know. you know so that is why intellect is sometimes a hindrance uh, in getting to know that. That's why when people are arguing about, I don't believe in God. Well, fine. How does it matter? Do you believe you are? That's all that matters. If you think you are, then everything else is irrelevant. That I cannot deny my own existence. So this is where we differentiate all other knowledge and the Adhyatma Vidya. So Bhagavan says, I am Adhyatma Vidya in the Vidyayam. So among Vidyas, I am that. So now a question can come. Normally what happens is, suppose I am a big scientist or I am a big author, I've done so much research, and then I have an accident. Some brain damage happens and I lose all my memory. You know. So the point is, then I have to relearn all that, to become more, uh, what do you call it? To get all that knowledge back, I have to relearn it. So the point is, for a man of realization, when we say that once he knows, he is beyond all the chakra of life and death, right? He is beyond the cycle. So what if he loses it? If he, suppose some realized master is there and he has an accident, some brain damage happens. Then no, it won't affect because that knowledge that I am that truth is not at a surface level. It gets to the, it is because everything is a projection of our vasanas, basically. How we think about world is coming from the vasanas that we have captured over a, zillion lifetimes. But once that thing is gone, when that covering of that vasana is gone, then there is no difference between me and the the true consciousness. So I start to identify with that. Once I identify it with that, then all other things don't matter, because it is not at a mind and an intellect level. It has gone way beyond it. That's just wanted to bring that up, so that we understand. Because all other knowledge can be a feather in your cap, right? We can say, I am a doctor of this, or I have done PhD in this field, or masters in this, or whatever. You can have so much, but can it remove the shoka moha bhaya? Has it removed? I may be the Einstein of in physics, but can we say for sure that I am beyond that? Cannot, because that is not the subject. you know so because it is the purifying knowledge. Purifying means that it liberates us, it frees us from everything else. So, and it is the foundation of all knowledge also. you know um, because you can say, I am the best in, say, physics, but I may have never read Shakespeare, or I may have no knowledge of uh, you know computers or something else. So whatever knowledge we have, we can go very deep into it, but we may miss out on many other things. It's like, so there is no total fulfillment in any other knowledge except this knowledge. Because in um Mundaka Upanishad, when the Shishya goes to the Guru and says, teach me that knowing which nothing else remains to be known. you know so that is that knowledge. What is it that will give me total fulfillment, take me beyond all sorrows. So uh, and the other difference is that other knowledge can be misused. you know if I have become nuclear scientist, I can use it for destruction of some other people. But the person who is a knower of the self cannot do any harm to anybody, because he sees himself in everything and everybody. He cannot hate anything or anybody. That's the so he can only bless people. He can only, there is no misuse possible. So that's another way to look at it. So that's the power. And then the vada pravadatam aham. I am the, among different type of debates or arguments, or you have. So there are three main types. One is called jalpa, vitanda, and vada. In short, I'll say the jalpa is when you have a point of view and I have a point of view. It's like presidential debate. They both have their own point of view. They are trying to argue positively about their point of view and negatively about the other's point of view. So so that is called jalpa. So these is where you put your arguments, but make sure that you also have put down the other's argument. The second one is called Khandan. Or Vitanda, actually. Vitanda is where you have no point of view, but you are ready to destroy the other's point of view. Whatever the other person's point of view is, you will say, nah, that is not possible, So that is called Vitanda. And then Vada. Vada is where you have a discussion, and the reason for that discussion is to do Tatparya Nirnaya. Tatparya Nirnaya means whatever is the topic, let's get to the essence of that. So you will argue with your point of view, but you will accept if somebody else has a better point of view. That's Vada. Vada is a cooperative way of discussing. You are more, you know, um, it's like, the story of Mandan Mishra and Shankaracharya. So they had a Vada because he was a Mimamsika, where, he believed that karmas is the only means of liberation. And Shankaracharya was from the Vedanta point of view, and he says, no, knowledge is the only means of liberation. So they had discussion, and Mandan Mishra's wife became the judge, Ubhaya Bharati, and they argued for few days before they she decided, no, Shankaracharya has won. So goal is to understand the truth and not to put down the other person. So that's Vada. It's called Tattva Nirnaya Phala. What is the come to the, so, and in the Vitanda, it, story came to my mind. Not a story, but a incident in Kabir Das Ji's life. So there was some big Gyani, who came to Kabir Das Ji and said, I want to do Shastrarth with you. He says, why? He says, I want to prove that I am better than you. He says, okay, you are better than me. I can give you in writing. We don't have to discuss anything, I just accept my defeat. You continue, with your thing. Because the goal was not to learn or to gain some knowledge. It was to put somebody else down. So that's what it is. So, anyways, um, then there is a fourth type also. It is called Samvad. Like every chapter we end with, what is it? The Om Shri, what is it? Om Tatsata Shri Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. So Samvad is where you have a discussion like a guru and shishya. So that's Samvad. That's where all the clarifications are given by somebody else. There is a Gyan transmitting the knowledge to Shishya. So anyway, move on to the next one. Aksharanam akarosmi dvanda samasa kasya cha ahame vakshayah kalah dhataham vishwato mukha. This is technical. Bhagavan says, okay, you know what? You want to talk about grammar? Let me talk about it. Aksharanam, in the alphabets, I am a. We have e, u, e, au, anga, all the alphabets are there. I'm the first alphabet, a. Because no Vyanjan. Vyanjan is, we have Swar and Vyanjan in Hindi or in Sanskrit also. The alphabets like ka, kha, ga, gha, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Hindi alphabets or the Devanagari alphabets. But no alphabet is complete without a. When we say ka has a built into it. is there. And is the most, it's the default word, default speech that effortlessly you say that, So that is that's why Bhagavan says, I am the first letter. And without that, no other letter is complete. So that's what Bhagavan's way of explaining that. And the second one, it says in samas. Samas is where you create compound words, where two or more words are combined together to create the new word. That is called samas. And Bhagavan says, I am dvandva samas. It's very technical. I am not very knowledgeable, but what I know, I'm telling you. So there are 4 or 5 different type of samas. So in the samas, there is one, it's called avyayis bhava, which means the first word is more important than the second word, And then there is tat purusha samas, which is the second word is more important than the first word. And then there is dvanda samas. I'm just going to talk about that, where both have the equal weightage. Dvandva samas means when two words are combined together, they both carry equal weight. Like Rama Lakshmana, that Ram and Lakshman went with somewhere, So when they say Ram and Lakshman, both are equally, playing equal role in that. Or there is like for the Avyayi Samas, it's called, example is Vraksha Shakha. So Vraksha Shakha means the branch of a tree. But here branch is more important because the subject is about branch. So uh, it's just an example, So, so somebody said, why do people say that, the money grows on trees? If no, if it doesn't grow on tree, why does the banks have so many branches? Shaka, bank shaka. So anyway, that's a bad joke. But point is that it is just Bhagavan is saying that I am equal in everything, and or the importance is the same. Like some other examples are like Jnana Agni, where Gyan is more important. Agni is not important. Gyan is more, Jnana Agni, Avyaya Samas. Or Shwet Ashwa. Shwet Ashwa means white horse. So here the whiteness is more important because we are not talking about any horse. We are talking about a specific horse, So, but point is, uh, and then the last one is Akshaya Kala. I am Akshaya Kal. Akshaya Kal means that Kal which never um, Akshaya means decaying, which is undecaying, the time which never passes, right? Uh, I am Kalasya Kala. That means I am the time of the time. I am um, because they say time is actually stationary, but we are the ones who have created the division in time. Why do the word second come? Because the difference between first and second make the second, If there was no first, there won't be second. Anyways, uh, so I am Kala of Kala. You guys have seen this movie, Everything, Everywhere, all the time. All at once, sorry, not all the time, all at once. We should, as a group, watch that movie. The goal is that everything is happening at the same time, really. The past, the present, and the future, they merge We are the ones who have separated it out. We are, because of our limited ability. The mind is the one because of which we see, oh, this happened in the past, this is happening now, this will happen in the future. So all the things that we talk about in terms of past, present, and future is we are actually divided the time into three periods, past, present, future. But really speaking, past, present, future is our um, mind's play, really. You know, it is hard to observe, but when we watch that movie one more time, you will see that how they were able to actually go back and forth between time. We see time only linear, one way. It started somewhere and then it is going somewhere, and then there is an end to it. But anyways, Bhagavan is saying, I am that kala, kalasya kala. I am the kal of the kal. So kalon ke kal, mahakal. Or I am kalatit. I am beyond time, because time is a field of experience only, you know. Uh, then the last one is in that is I am the dhata. क्या है? Dhata ham vishwato mukha. Dhata is the one which is the giver of the results, of the fruits of the results, fruits of our actions. That's dhata, the one who is giving us everything. He says, I am dhata. What kind of dhata? Vishwato mukha, who is looking at everything. It is not like I have one favorable, one unfavorable, or I ignored somebody. There's an old Hindi song. It says, um, आसमां में है खुदा और जमीन पे हम, आजकल वो इस तरफ देखता है कम, कि आजकल वो हमारी तरफ नहीं देख रहा भगवान. कहते नो, ही इज विश्वतो मुखा. ही इज द धाता हु इज गिव, यू नो who is looking at everything all the time. So nothing escapes Bhagwan. That's the point. It's not like you can hide from it. It's like hiding from yourself. How can you do that? You can't do that. Anyways, so let's go to the next one. मृत्यु 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 हरश्चाहम उद्भवश्च भविष्यता. I am the devourer of the death also. कहते मैं जैसे काल को भी खा जाने वाला. मृत्यु मृत्यु हरश्चाहम. हरना means to devour, to take away. Udbhavascha bhavishyata, that which means I am the death of everything. That means I am the end of everything. Also, udbhavascha bhavishyata, and those who are going to be born in a different form, in a different life, I am that too. So, udbhavascha, I am the one who is born again in the future. Bhavishyatam, in the future, I am that too. See, Bhagwan is giving his different glories. So in that he says, I am the death of everything, as well as I am the future of everything. So that which is dead will be born again, somewhere, sometime, and I am that too. So Kirti Shri. Oh, this is a very important one. Kirti Shri Vakcha Narina Smriti Medha Dhriti Kshama. These are all the feminine qualities. So, anyway, let me repeat the first one. When Bhagavan is saying, I am the death. I am Hara, Sarva Haraha. Sarva Hara means sabko harne wala, because death takes everything, whether it is the the life, the wealth, the health, anything Bhagwan can devour, that the time will devour that. And um, but it is not like it is gone. Then again it is in a different form appears. So Bhagwan says, I am that udbhavascha bhavishyatam. So it's very interesting, udbhavascha, that I am, like just like he said, I am the origin, middle, and end of everything. Bhagwan says uh, that I am the origin of anything that is going to take birth. You know, so this is not just for the life. It is about everything. If you are, if somebody gets wealthy, you don't say he became wealthy. You look at Bhagwan's glory that the wealth has come to him. So it's like it is a Paramatma's play only. Everything that is happening is Paramatma's play. So even Mrityu is a blessing, if you think about it, because um, it is the beginning of a new life. If things don't end, there won't be new life at all. So the death is an important um, stopover, for the next flight. So we have to understand that. Plus also that jiva is freed from the limitation of this body. Sometimes, the person is sick or whatever other reasons may be, that it may be a time for them to restart their, it's like a reset button. So now Bhagavan has used 7 different qualities which he calls Striyana, or the Nari Nam. So it's the feminine qualities that are, he's talking about: Kirti, Shri, Vak, Medha, Dhrati, and Kshama. So these are the 7 qualities. Quickly, we will cover that. So Bhagwan uh, is talking about, let's take the first one, Kirti. So in Prashnopanishad, there is, the last question. There are rishis who have come to ask question to, I think it was Atri Rishi. But the last question was that we have heard there is this Purusha, which has got 16 kalas, 16 kala sampurn. So in that, they said one of the last kala is Nama. Nama means it's the name. So it says when that person is gone, everything is gone with that person except for that name. The name remains. So the kirti of that person is associated with that name. When we talk about some great people, we always mention their name, that this person did this. It cannot be nameless. So the name is that carries the kirti of the person, Bhagwan Ram. So when we think of Ram, all his gunas come to our mind, that, okay, Ram did this, Ram was great, he was the bearer of dharma, and all those things come to our mind. Krishna, we talk about, even at a Lokik level, we talk about, people who have done great work in the scientific world, or the say the freedom fighters, or people like Shankaracharya, Raman Maharshi, Arvindo, so they are all, the name reminds us of their kirti. So because when they are dying, they die, they live forever by what they have done. That's kirti. Shri is the wealth of character. So how because that is what remains. We say, that person's wealth, real wealth, is the character of that person. Same way in Vani. Vani we'll do that more in the 17th chapter. But Vani is a vibhuti of Bhagwan only. कहते हैं, वाणी कैसी होनी चाहिए? कहते हैं प्रिय होनी चाहिए. It should be sweet. When you talk to somebody, it should be there should be sweetness. The lovingness has to be there, and then there should be truthfulness in that. Whatever you say should, be truthful, and it should be of some benefit to other person. It's not like, so this is at a empirical level, the Vani. But Bhagwan is saying the Vani, when you think about it, is my vibhuti. If I am able to speak, it is because of Bhagwan's grace that I have the speech. So at a higher level, it is bhakti, gyan, vairagya, yukta vani. So when all these things combine, so then it becomes more shuddha. So that is to induce that, because that, see, all the gyan that we know comes from vani only. That's the way the knowledge gets transmitted. So highest level is Mahavakya Upadesh, where the real essence is taught, where the main idea about who we are is transmitted to us. So we talked about, and also, here anyway, that's about the Vak. Then Smriti. Smriti, you all know. Smriti means the memory. Memory of what? Memory is whatever we know is how to use it also. See, sometimes when we are teaching kids and they forget, somebody has given them a gift, and parents remind, Beta, what do you say? You say thank you. We remind. So that goes in their memory. So anytime they receive something, they say thank you. So this is what the uh, point of memory is, that it is something that we can it is basically our bank balance of memory, basically, which should be used. But point is that it can be used when our mind is in a more calmer sense. But if, like the ladder of fall, it says krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha buddh, sammohat smriti vibhrama. So when the mind is angry or it is preoccupied with something, you forget. So so this is the memory. So even in the 18th chapter, end of Bhagavad Gita, everything is taught to Arjuna. Then his final comment is what? Nashto moha smritir labdhva. That all my doubts have been cleared, all my moha is destroyed, and I have regained the memory of my truth, who I am. So that is the ultimate memory, Atma Gyan. So Medha, Medha is the ability to retain knowledge. That's Medha. You know, so sometimes we have heard things, but we can't remember it. So Medha is the ability to get it to the level where you can recollect it anytime at your will. So that's ability to retain something is Medha Shakti. So Bhagwan says that Medha Shakti is me. I am the one because of which uh, you are able to retain anything. So we, like, certain things which we enjoy, we retain. Something we don't enjoy, it just comes in and goes out. We don't retain that. Dhrati is fortitude. Okay, that ability to continue till that goal is reached. That is dhriti, like the Robert Frost thing, what is it? Woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have miles to go before I sleep. And, so that means even when the patience wear out, but we still continue, you know. So that ability is called dhrati. That dhrati we all have, it's not like we don't have. It's just Bhagwan is saying, when you have that dhrati, remember it is me working through you, you know. So it's like marathon runner, at the last stage, their body has basically given up, but they have that dhrati to complete that run. So that's Bhagwan's gift, what do you call it? Vibhuti, Kshama. Kshama is, कहते हैं, where there is Kshama, there is Shanti. Kshama is the ability to forgive and forget, So so there was this dialogue between husband and wife. He says, do you remember you did this? But you told me, let's forgive and forget. He says, yeah, I forgive and forget, but I don't want you to forget. So I'll keep reminding you. So that's the last one, Kshama. So these are all the virtues. Bhagavan says, I am in all the qualities, including these are all feminine qualities, So, so let's stop here. We can, I think I may have stretched it a little more. But next week we will wrap it up. So Tuesday and Thursday, we will finish this chapter and then we can continue with the 11th. So let's just Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.